welcome to my channel, Talking with Tamaya. I will be covering my experience with a LSAT prep course. Now, disclaimer, this is my experience. So, that should about cover what I'm about to talk about. There are some people who have amazing experiences, some people who have awful experiences, some people who have lackluster experiences. I don't know about their experiences because it's not really me. I'm just talking about what I went through, just to give you a little bit of insight, and maybe you can go the route that I went or go a different route depending on how you feel about what I'm about to tell you. So let's get started. Okay, so as I mentioned previously, I did take a prep course to prepare for the LSAT. The company that I took the course with was actually one of the leading LSAT prep companies, I feel like, in the nation, which is PowerScore. PowerScore does have some amazing resources. As I mentioned in the previous video, they have the PowerScore Trilogy, which helped me with my self-studying. They also have in-classroom prep courses depending on your location, and they also have an online course if you are unable to make it to their in-classroom courses. So I took the online course, which was $995 with 36 lecture hours, and I believe it was 40 to 45 additional archived videos on the site. All right, so let's get into my experience. PowerScore knows what they're doing. I can say that. However, I don't necessarily feel like the way that the class was structured was geared towards my learning style. Now, the reason why I say that is because the way the class worked is there is one proctor who is pretty much explaining the content, and then there's another person who is answering questions while the course is going on. I found that it was very difficult for students to ask questions while they were simultaneously trying to gauge what the professor was talking about. I know in the past when I was asking questions during the course, the answers that I got never really fully satisfied the questions that I was asking. And it could just be because it was, very impersonal. We're typing, you're not really hearing how I'm asking the question. You're not really understanding. And I don't even know if I'm really articulating the question the way I should. So that made it very difficult for me. I haven't taken many online courses during my college career. I'm more so of a in-classroom person, and if PowerScore did have the in-classroom option in my area, I undoubtedly would have taken it. However, they didn't, and I just kind of felt like because I was familiar with the material, having utilized their trilogy, I would have been more successful taking their prep course. Not so much. So I took the prep course. I started it in August, and I completed it in October, just about 2 weeks prior to taking the October LSAT. And it could be that I was a student at the time, so I was focusing on things in regards to academics. I was in a step show, so that required a lot of practice at night, so I maybe was not able to devote as much time as I should have. However, the course was every Monday and Wednesday from 12 p.m. until 3 p.m. So I did utilize that time to really kind of understand it. But it could have been that I just did not use my time wisely, or I could have just had too many other things going on. So one thing that I want you to take into account if you do decide to take an online prep course or just to take a prep course during the semester is to be sure that you have a very light workload. Like I said, it was the first semester of my senior year, so there was a lot going on. In the fall, there's always a lot of things going on college campuses, so it was definitely difficult for me to focus as much as I wanted to. And also the classes just were not really what I expected. So a recommendation that I have prior to selecting a prep course is to go to that site's website. Pretty much every single company that has an online prep course has a sample of the way their courses are formatted. PowerScore has one. Blueprint, which is another great company that people use, has one. And on there, it just pretty much shows you how the classes go. It shows you how the questions are answered for students who has them. It shows you some of the proctors that they have, and it's just kind of a good way to see if it's one of your learning styles. I personally did not do that, but following taking the PowerScore prep course, I did do that, and I saw that there are several companies who even had cheaper prices than PowerScore, and I kind of felt like it matched my learning style a little bit more. PowerScore is a great company, but if I were able to redo it, I would have chosen another prep course to prepare because I feel like my score did not really increase following my self-studying. So usually after you take a prep course, you should be able to kind of understand what you're doing wrong or what areas you're lacking in, and they can address that and you can improve it and you see an increase in your score. I didn't notice a substantial increase in my score, which is honestly problematic because you're paying nearly $1,000 and you're doing that because you want your score to increase. So like I said, the first time I took the LSAT, my score was horrendous, and it could have been the timing of the test. I just didn't do well. So after taking the prep course, I did use some of the materials that I had. Like I said, they offered with the package every single previously released LSAT, and they also had a section where you can time your scores. When I tell you like where you can log your scores and you can kind of get the answers to each of the questions. That was a lot. So I did not notice progression in my scores working with them. So when I began to prepare for the February LSAT, I used my self-studying method again. I did use some of their resources to help me study, but I didn't even revert back to the course to help me because it just really wasn't as helpful as it could have been. The great thing about the classes is they are recorded, so if you miss a class, you can go back and get a little bit more insight on it and a little bit more understanding, but it wasn't for me. Great company, wasn't for me. So if you are looking to take a prep course to help you continue to study for the LSAT or help you understand the LSAT more, look into the resource that I mentioned in the LSAT resources video, casebriefs.com, which is a free LSAT prep course. If you feel like that does not help you, then you can look and see other LSAT prep courses that are out there and just compare and contrast. Look at what they're offering, look at the resources that they're giving you, look at how much time you have to dedicate to it. Look at what they're offering you and really compare it. Don't just stick to a company because they have a nice name, because name doesn't always mean that it's going to be good for you. It might be good for other people, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to help you. And ultimately, that's what you want to do. You want to improve your LSAT score and you want to do well on the test so you can go to law school. So look at there's so many companies out there. It can honestly become overwhelming because there's so many different options. So definitely look at company reviews, or look at the reviews, look at what they're offering. You can even ask some of your peers who have maybe taken a prep course. Just do extensive research and don't just settle on someone or settle on a company because you think that it's going to work for you. There's also people who use a tutor method, so they pay for a tutor who can kind of break things down for you if you need more individual help. I would also suggest using that method. Very expensive. Very expensive. But if that's the route that you want to take and you feel like it'll actually help you get the results that you need, I would just take it because, like I said, I can honestly say I wasted $1,000 on my PowerScore prep course, and that's $1,000 I could have used to go shopping, or $1,000 I could have used to go to another LSAT prep company. So just do your research. It could really help you save money in the long run. That about covers it for me. Like I said, PowerScore is a great company. The prep course, however, was not for me. The PowerScore trilogy, extremely helpful in my self-studying, but the prep course, I could have lived without it. So do your research when you're searching for your LSAT prep courses, and just stay motivated. That's the one thing I must say. Stay motivated during this trial because boy, is it a trial. Stay motivated, stay positive, and stay hungry. Do what you got to do. If you have any questions, comments, doubts, worries, or concerns, don't hesitate to ask. Thanks for listening. Bye.